Welcome back to Binge Watchers, where today we are recapping the hit miniseries Ascension. They are heroes, and they're headed to space. It's 1963, the Cold War is raging, and nuclear war looms over humanity. President John Kennedy, fearing Earth's annihilation, commands a secret mission for survival. Enter the spaceship Ascension and its 600 brave volunteers sent to Proxima Centauri to colonize a distant world. The journey spans centuries, with generations living and dying aboard the ship. Fast forward 2 generations. The Ascension is now home to the grandchildren of the original astronauts, living in a bubble that mimics the 1960s. The 51st anniversary of the launch brings a grand celebration, and it seems like the mission is thriving. But beneath the surface, all is not well. Social inequality runs deep. The rich enjoy the upper deck's luxury, while the poor scrape by in the lower deck's shadows. One day, a young woman named Lai picks up a mysterious package from the butcher and heads to the artificial beach. Not long after, Krista, another young woman, finds Lai's lifeless body and screams, alerting the ship. Back on Earth, the chief engineer's son, Harris, now oversees the Ascension project. The original engineer might be gone, but Harris is determined to protect his father's legacy and keep the project secure. When Harris hears of Lai's death, his assistant urges him to inform project director Catherine Warren. But Harris hesitates, fearing the news could unravel everything they worked for and smear his father's name. The stakes are sky high, and the secrets aboard the Ascension are even higher. Will Harris risk it all to reveal the truth, or will he bury it to save the mission? The clock is ticking, and the fate of humanity hangs in the balance. Dr. Juliet Bryce is examining the dead body, her eyes narrowing at the strange marks on the skin. Something's not right here. Captain William, always a man of action, hands over the investigation to Aaron G., the project executive director. Aaron soon uncovers a baffling detail: no image of Lai entering the beach. How did she get there? Digging deeper, Aaron finds out Lai was seeing a guy named James Toak, a worker in water purification. Aaron hunts for James, but hits a dead end. On the same day, the forensic results come in with a bombshell. Lai had been intimate just hours before her death, and a bullet was found in her palate. Weapons are officially banned on the ship. Panic sets in. Aaron rushes to inform the captain. Meanwhile, Krista is hospitalized, paralyzed with fear. She claims someone is watching her. As she starts to recover, she insists there's no life in space and they must return to Earth. She believes Lai died because she uncovered a dangerous secret. The tension mounts as Aaron finally catches James Toak. James admits he saw Lai the day she died, but she stormed off after a fight. He swears he wasn't near her afterward. Desperate for answers, Aaron and James scour the beach. They stumble upon a hidden passageway, Lai's secret route, explaining her absence on surveillance. Aaron and Officer Duke dive into the passageway, finding the murder scene. There, they discover a book with maps of the water filtration system and blueprints of the ship's navigation computer, which recently malfunctioned. Sabotage. Someone is trying to force the ship back to Earth. Duke and his team descend to the lower decks. The butcher, Stokes, ignites a brutal fight. Suddenly, alarms blare. An intense radiation storm is approaching. The order goes out. Everyone to their capsules. But then, horror strikes. The protective shields are jammed. The captain sends Aaron and an electrician to fix the shields. They race against time, and with a last-minute effort, the door seals shut. Breathless, the electrician makes a chilling confession. He saw Stokes giving Lai a gun before she died. The plot thickens, the danger escalates, and the ship is on the brink of chaos. Dr. Juliet tenderly tucks Krista into bed, leaving her with a seahorse-shaped necklace, assuring her it will protect her. But when the spaceship hits the radiation zone, everyone scrambles to their capsules. As Krista tries to find comfort, she sees a mysterious man in a suit creep into her room. The ship emerges safely from the radiation storm, but the tension is far from over. G and Duke make their way to the lower deck, discovering a gun with Stokes and taking him into custody. The man protests vehemently, claiming he's been set up because he's from the lower deck. Easy target, he insists. The interrogation goes nowhere. Meanwhile, the door to Stokes' cell swings open automatically. He slips out, retrieves a hidden gun from his cabin, and everything takes a darker turn. After a somber funeral, G confronts Captain William. The captain admits he was close to Lai, but swears he didn't kill her. The tension is shattered when Stokes appears, seizing a random girl as a hostage. He demands a fair trial, his desperation palpable. In a heartbeat, G lunges at Stokes, freeing the girl. The captain rushes her to safety, while Stokes and G grapple. The struggle ends with Stokes being ejected into space. But instead of death, he lands on an inflatable mattress, and a group of people swiftly detains him. Then the bombshell drops. The entire project is revealed to be a simulation, a test to see if generations could survive in spaceflight. The crew, thinking they were on an important mission for 51 years, were mere pawns. Director Warren learns of the chaos and storms into the Mission Control Center, furious. She warns Harris not to hide anything. Harris tries to pin everything on Stokes, but Warren isn't buying it. She dispatches Samantha Kruger, a no-nonsense consultant, to oversee the project. Amidst this chaos, a faceless figure plants a bomb in the ship's cobalt generator. The explosion rocks the facility. Harris and Kruger rush in, finding no casualties, but the injured are quickly whisked to the medical center. Captain William inspects the blast site, finding graffiti that confirms sabotage. Fearing accusations of incompetence, he decides to cover up the true cause. Outside, Kruger demands access to the ship's surveillance footage. G heads to the lower decks, seeking Dwight, the man in charge of the generators. But Dwight panics, attacking G while G regains consciousness, battered but determined. He delves deeper into the investigation, uncovering a chilling connection between the recent explosion and one that killed his parents 20 years ago. Dwight emerges as a prime suspect in Lai's murder. G pieces together that Stokes, who didn't even know how to use a gun, couldn't have killed Lai. The realization hits like a sledgehammer. Dwight is likely the real murderer. As G navigates this treacherous landscape, the lines between allies and enemies blur. Each revelation pulls him deeper into a web of deceit and danger. The truth is a ticking time bomb, and G must defuse it before it's too late. The future of the crew, and perhaps humanity's dreams of space, hang in the balance. Can G unravel the mystery and expose the real culprits before the next catastrophe strikes? The clock is ticking, and the stakes have never been higher. Harris and his assistant are hit with a gut-wrenching revelation. The other side of the deck is no longer airtight. The team inside can hear every sound from the outside, and the threat of exposure hangs over them like a dark cloud. The tension is palpable. Suddenly, G stumbles upon Dwight. A brutal fight erupts, fists flying and blood spilling. Somehow, Dwight slips through G's grasp and manages to set a bomb timer. Panic grips Harris. He shouts, orders, demands that everyone flee immediately. In a race against time, G defuses the bomb, but Dwight isn't so lucky, he doesn't make it out alive. Kruger's fury is volcanic. She blames Harris for the death. But Harris, unyielding, retorts that the project's goal is to push the boundaries of human capability. Yet later his facade cracks when he gives Dr. Juliet's necklace to his wife, revealing he was the one who broke into Krista's room and stole it. Kruger, relentless and determined, launches her own investigation. She uncovers a chilling pattern. Scientists involved in the Ascension project had mysteriously died or vanished in the 1960s, as if the universe is conspiring against them. Back on the ship, preparations for the next round of vaccinations begin. But Krista, eyes wide with fear, refuses the shot, certain it's a death sentence. The librarian steps in, volunteering for the shot, but horror strikes, she collapses, unconscious. Kruger's demand for answers is met with Harris's cold assurance that these are routine immunizations. His concern shifts to Krista, who didn't get the shot. In a calculated move, he orders the medicine to be added to milk. But Krista, sharp and suspicious, sees through his plan and pours it out. Kruger's investigation leads her to Eva, the mind behind a website tracking the fate of the 1960s scientists. Eva's revelations are bone-chilling. The government used the project as a front to abduct children. The stakes soar higher when an unknown man attacks Krista, trying to forcibly vaccinate her. He fails, injuring himself and staining her dress with blood. But Krista escapes. G, her protector, rushes her to Dr. Juliet and convinces her to accept the shot. As preparations begin, Krista confides in Dr. Robert Bryce about the haunting visions plaguing her. Falling from a twin tower, desert wars, oceanic tragedies. She even saw Dr. Bryce in the maintenance tunnel where Lai was killed. Bryce's reaction is explosive. He gags her and forcibly administers the shot. Harris and his assistant witness this and are stunned. Krista's visions match real events on Earth. Dr. Bryce, in a desperate search for answers, discovers a blood sample on Krista's dress, matching his wife's student, Mesmer. But the revelation is short-lived. The boy is found dead in his cabin. Kruger, piecing together the chaos, concludes Harris has an accomplice on the ship, someone causing the disturbances and radiation storms. The day of the lottery dawns, a grim reminder of the strict population control. Only a couple whose names are drawn can have a child, and only after someone dies. With 3 deaths, the stakes are higher than ever. The winners are announced, and among them is Officer Duke and his wife. Amidst the tense atmosphere, Krista spots a woman outside her cabin and follows her. Her blood runs cold. It's the ghost of Lai. Suddenly, a video plays, showing Krista's tryst with Captain William. The room erupts in laughter, but Krista is consumed by terror, screaming uncontrollably. Harris watches in awe, noting that Krista reacted even before the video played, as if she could see the future. His amazement is tinged with the eerie resonance of his father's prediction. In 3 generations, morphic resonance would emerge. And now it seems that time has come. Kruger grabs the keys to Stokes' cell and presents a damning report against Harris. This report is so scathing that it forces Director Warren to intervene. Under the cover of this chaos, Kruger sneaks into Stokes' cell, but instead of just a simple escape, he ambushes her, takes her hostage, and uncovers the horrifying truth about the Ascension project. The revelation shatters Stokes, pushing her to the brink of a breakdown. But Kruger, driven by a sense of urgency, convinces her they need to flee immediately, or they will be silenced permanently. Stokes, realizing the project's monstrous nature, agrees to help. As they step into the harsh light of freedom, Stokes breaks down in tears. Kruger, injured but relentless, urges her to hold it together. Their escape becomes even more perilous when a guard approaches. In a tense and desperate struggle, they manage to neutralize him, but not without Kruger taking a hit. With Kruger bleeding and time ticking away, Stokes rushes to a nearby store for medical supplies. They then hole up in a seedy motel, trying to stay under the radar. Meanwhile, chaos erupts behind them. Warren and Harris discover the escape and call in TC's security forces, the very company funding the unethical project. The management, furious with the director's oversight, accuses Harris of hiding crucial information. Harris, desperate and panicked, pleads with Warren for another chance, but his pleas fall on deaf ears. On board the ship, Duke is on edge. He learns that G is investigating his wife, suspecting her of murdering Lai. Rage boils over, and Duke confronts G in a violent showdown. In a twisted twist of fate, Krista has a vision of this confrontation and rushes to the beach, her anxiety triggering her telekinesis. But in her panic, she loses control, and the entire ship plunges into darkness as its electrical systems shut down. Warren, furious, blames Harris for the catastrophic power failure and orders his henchmen to eliminate him. Harris, cornered and terrified, talks about morphic resonance, a phenomenon Warren has been eagerly anticipating. They rush to the control center, discovering that while the ship's systems are down, the artificial stars embedded in the nuclear reactor by Harris's father still shine, maintaining the illusion of stability. Harris proposes using the nuclear reactor to restore the ship's functionality. Amid this turmoil, Toak picks up a faint TV signal and informs Dr. Bryce. But Bryce, hiding his true allegiance, dismisses Toak with a flimsy excuse and turns off the screen. It's clear now. Bryce is in league with Harris, pulling strings behind the scenes. The stakes are higher than ever, and the clock is ticking. Each character teeters on the edge, driven by desperation, betrayal, and a relentless pursuit of survival. The next move could mean the difference between life and death, truth and deception, freedom and captivity. Kruger meets with Ava, urgency crackling in the air. She spills everything, her plan to flee abroad and seek asylum before blowing the lid off the project's deceit. Eva's face twists, desperate to change her mind. But as Kruger speaks, realization dawns. Eva's in bed with TC. Betrayal thickens the air. Eva's confession comes with a deadly punctuation. She shoots Kruger. Amidst the chaos, Stokes seizes the moment and escapes. Panic sets in as oxygen on the ship dwindles. Captain William and G race to the lower decks, their mission clear. Activate the carbon dioxide scrubbers. But it's not just the scrubbers. They declare a radiation storm, a desperate gambit to conserve every precious breath. Harris, the voice of grim reason, tells them fixing the ship is a lost cause. Warren, ever pragmatic, decides to extract Krista before she suffocates. In the bowels of the ship, William and G make a horrifying discovery. The scrubbers are beyond saving. With grim determination, they decide to clean the air manually, a near impossible task, but their only shot. Meanwhile, Krista's senses tingle with dread as someone approaches. Dr. Bryce confirms her fear, and when she confronts him about Lai's murder, he crumbles, confessing that Lai had discovered the mission's sham. He couldn't risk exposure. Hope flickers as William and G distribute lithium dioxide using massive fans, pushing back the suffocating dread. Oxygen floods the ship, but the moment of relief is fleeting. Warren's envoy arrives, a juggernaut of menace. Dr. Bryce tries to intervene, but is swatted aside like a fly. The brute grabs Krista, dragging her towards an unknown fate. But then G sees a ghost, a spectral Lai leading him to Krista. Resonance hums through him, a newfound power. G launches himself at the envoy, fury and fear driving him. Krista taps into her power, and in a blinding moment, their opponents dissolve into nothingness. Warren, watching his plans unravel, scrambles for the radio, his voice cracking with panic. Desperation leads him closer to the ship's edge. Harris, seizing the chance, pushes him, sending him to his death. Suddenly, G finds himself on an alien planet, the ground beneath him unfamiliar and eerie. The twist gnaws at the mind, a chilling question lingering. What if Earth is just another ship? Are we all unwitting players in a cosmic experiment? The truth hangs tantalizingly out of reach, leaving the mind racing and the heart pounding.